This video is just to go over thieves with you guys. So this is going to be a strategy that I would like you to use every time you read a text before you actually read. So essentially you'll be stealing stuff or sneaking stuff from the text going through this model. So the first one is the title. Look at the title always. See what you can gather from that. What is the title saying, or what can you infer or make an educated guess about from the title. Headings are going to be those bold titles. So what I mean by that is if you're on an article, here's the actual title. So why like this, for example, would be why the coronavirus looks different to Black America. But the headings are these bold, like kind of smaller titles for each section. So go through those headings and see if there's anything that you can gather from those. So, for example, the coronavirus in communities of color. In that section, we could infer that we're going to be learning about COVID in those communities within that section. The next one is going to be the introduction. So because we have headings, we know that this part, like right underneath the title before we get a heading, would be the introduction. So you would read that. If it wasn't, we would just read the first paragraph or two and call that the introduction. Every first sentence is just how it sounds. You would read every first sentence of every paragraph or every section, depending on how it's broken up. And that should give you, again, a pretty good idea of some things you're going to be reading about. Visuals and vocabulary. Visuals are those images. They are things that you can see, so think vision. So here's a picture and here's the caption. So what is this picture and the caption telling us about what we're going to be reading about? Here's a picture and again a caption, and so we can use that to also tell us what we're going to be reading about. I think visuals are so important because pictures or images sometimes can be worth 1,000 words. And then vocabulary. As you go through, are there any vocab words or any words that you're like, I do not know what those mean? In this article, there are actually like vocab that they pulled out, so you can go through and look at those. But if there's other ones that you don't understand, so maybe you didn't know what residence was or essential or one of the non-bolded words, this is the time to ask or to go through and then look up those words. So then if I didn't know what essential was, I would go and I would Google essential, and then I would actually make a note, and I would like put the definition here, whatever that would be. So that you would have it for when you go through and read it. So that's a very important step, because if you don't understand the words, you're not going to understand you're not going to understand what the article is about. Second to last is the ending questions. So you'll normally get those no matter if it's on Newsletter or not ahead of time, but the quiz questions, go to those, read through those before you even read the whole article, so that you know when you're going through and reading what you need to be looking for. If you know those are going to be the answers and that's what you're graded on, then why wouldn't you go and figure out what you're going to be graded on first, so that you can then be looking for them as you read. And then the last thing would be the summary, which would be the end of the article. So for here on this article, it doesn't really say summary, it just has like a last section. So I would do the last paragraph. So if it doesn't have a summary section, I would just do the last paragraph of the article. If you guys have any questions about what thieves is, or anything like that, please do not hesitate to ask.